need to be making this 20-minute grilled brat platter. It's one of the easiest things to make on the grill. It's done in a flash and it's way healthier than your boring grilled hot dogs.
Hi, I'm Angie. Welcome back to Dinner and a Side. My sister Laura and I are here to help you elevate your cooking and find delicious meals you love. So the thing about cooking brats on the grill is it's really tough to get them to cook evenly. The sausages get burnt on the outside and underdone on the inside. It's definitely a classic grilling mistake. This week, we're gonna show you how to get juicy, flavorful brats, get those great grill marks on your veggies, and of course, how to whip up that creamy, tangy dill sauce that everyone is gonna be talking about. First up is the brats. We're using a good quality pork bratwurst. The most important thing is to find one with a good natural casing, because that's what's gonna give you that snap when you bite into it. Now, we're not pre-cooking these or boiling them in beer beforehand. That's a great method, but for a 20-minute recipe, we want that straight off the grill flavor.
And of course, the vegetables. This is where we get to add all of that lovely summer color. We've picked a classic mix of veggies here that will hold up really well on the grill. We've got red and yellow bell peppers for sweetness, zucchini, asparagus, and a red onion for that sharp, sweet bite. Now, this is what is so great about this. You can swap out, mix and match, do whatever you like here. So you could add some mushrooms or some eggplant, whatever you have on hand. The goal is just to get a nice, colorful mix.
And finally, we have the creamy dill sauce. This is what takes this dish up to a whole nother level. It's cool, tangy, and fresh, and it cuts through the richness of the brats and the smoky vegetables. Now, this takes about 2 minutes to make, but it makes such a difference. So let's get started.
I am on veggie duty today. The most important thing about grilling vegetables is how you cut them. If you just chop them up into pieces, they're probably gonna just fall through the grates. For the bell peppers, I like to cut them into large, flat pieces. So just core it and slice it into quarters, then once or twice more. This gives you a nice big surface for getting those great grill marks. For the zucchini, I slice it lengthwise into little wedges. Half it, then quarter it, then cut those quarters in half again. This thickness lets it steam on the inside and get tender, but it's still sturdy enough to get a good char on the outside. And for the red onion, I just slice it into nice, thick rings. Make sure that they're not too thin, because when they cook on the grill, they're just gonna get thinner, and they might fall through the grates. Once everything's been cut, you can just put it in a big bowl. We're gonna season it with some olive oil and some salt and pepper. Now, the olive oil is not just for flavor, but that's great too. It's also going to keep it from sticking to the grill. So make sure you give it a nice dose. And then we'll just season with some salt and pepper. Now just toss it all together, make sure every piece gets coated, and it's ready for the grill.
While those veggies are sitting in that delicious seasoning, let's whip up the sauce. Seriously, this takes less time than it takes to preheat your grill. In this bowl, I have about half a cup of plain Greek yogurt. I like the full fat kind for its creaminess, but use whatever you like. To that, I'm adding a quarter cup of mayo. Okay, now for the flavor. I'm gonna grate in 1 small clove of garlic. You don't want it to be overpowering, you just kind of want it to be there in the background a little bit. Then I've got 3 tablespoons of fresh dill here. You really want to use fresh because the dried version just doesn't have the same bright flavor. Then a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice for some brightness. And finally, a pinch of salt and pepper. Now for the really hard part. You just stir it all together. That's it. In 90 seconds, we have this amazing creamy sauce. And trust me, you should probably make some extra because you're really gonna wanna put this on everything. So now I'm just gonna cover it up and stick it in the fridge. Giving it time to chill allows the flavors to come together. By the way, in case you missed something or you want to check out the full list of ingredients, you can find the full recipe in the description.
Before we take this out there to grill, let's talk about the grill itself first. You want to make sure that the grill gets really hot, somewhere between 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure that you're preheating it with the lid closed for at least 15 minutes. If the grill is not hot enough when you start cooking, Stuff will stick, and you also won't be able to get a good sear.
But if it's too hot, your brat casings are gonna burst, the juices are gonna run out, and it's gonna leave you with dry, burnt sausage. So medium heat is what we're looking for.
And here's another really useful tip. You wanna grease the grates before you start cooking, and that will help your food not stick. What I do is take a little paper towel and douse it in some high heat oil like peanut oil, and then just use some tongs and rub that on.
Finally, you need to know your grill's heat zones. Even a gas grill can have hotter and cooler spots, and we're gonna use that. We're gonna start our brats on direct medium heat so they can get some good color. And then if they start to brown too fast, we're gonna move them to a cooler spot so they can finish cooking through without burning.
Honestly, learning how to manage the heat is one of the biggest things you can do for your grilling. If you're finding these tips useful, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. We're sharing tips like this all the time, and we'd love for you to join us.
Okay, everything's ready, so let's start grilling. I'm gonna start with the brats. With your tongs, remember never a fork with brats because you don't wanna poke the casings, that will let all the juice out. That's the worst thing you can do. We're just gonna lay these over medium heat and get them going. You'll hear that sizzle right away. That's what you want. We're gonna let them cook for 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Now the trick here is to be patient. We don't wanna move them around a lot. We want them to be able to sit and get a nice brown crust. The brats are gonna take about 10 minutes to cook, so after about 5 minutes, it's time to give them a turn. See that? That gorgeous browning is exactly what we want.
I start to put my veggies on right after the first turn of the brats. I like to arrange them in a single layer with a little space in between. You don't want to overcrowd the grill, otherwise you'll steam the food instead of grilling it. Just like with the brats, don't touch the veggies once you put them on the grill or you'll mess up the grill marks. Just let them cook for about 5 minutes and then you can turn them over. About 5 minutes in, you can go ahead and flip them over. You can see those nice dark grill marks starting to show up. That's all flavor. The vegetables are done when they're tender and have a nice char. Just make sure you don't leave them on too long or they'll become limp and overdone.
For the brats, the only way to know for sure that they're done is to use a meat thermometer. You're looking for an internal temperature of 160 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
But wait, you said not to poke them.
You're right, I did say that. But it's the only way to tell if they're perfectly cooked and safe to eat. So wait until the cooking time is almost completely over and then go in from the side. You will only want to poke them once. If they're not quite done, leave them on for another minute and then take them off. You don't want to overcook them. When they're done, take them off and let them rest for 5 to 10 minutes before serving them.
Good, that gives me just enough time to beautifully arrange these veggies on my platter. I like to serve this on a nice big white platter because it makes the colors of the food really stand out.
I'll go get the sauce. All right, give it one last stir. See that? It's thick enough to coat the spoon, but you can still drizzle it. It's perfect. Now for the brats. You can slice them or you can serve them whole like I'm going to. I'm just gonna set them on the platter and drizzle this sauce over. This is what brings it all together. I'll finish it off with another sprinkle of fresh dill for extra freshness.
And there you have it, our grilling go-to, ready in about 20 minutes. It's a platter that looks abundant, tastes amazing, and it wasn't even hard to make.
Okay, moment of truth. I'm gonna grab some of that brat and red pepper. Don't forget the sauce. Doesn't that look delicious? Wow, that is summer on a plate. If you're looking for even more dinner recipes to try, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified of the next video.